Hi, I'm Maxine, managing partner of Emmy Crestwell Capital. And I just want to talk to you just candidly because over the past several months, many of you have followed my journey in my research as I explored valuation, financial strategy, underwriting, portfolio analysis, and really the critical decisions that shape commercial real estate today. And along the way, I feel like something became fundamentally clear to me that conversations have grown far beyond just property values alone, value add, right? We've kind of evolved past that. And because I feel like every meaningful capital decision is really influenced by a complex web of factors that stretch past single metrics, especially that one single metric. So we're thinking about ownership objectives, financial structure, documentation quality, market context, comparable analyses, and timing. And they all heavily dictate the ultimate outcome at the end of the day. And so the more I study these intricate relationships, the more that I realized that they deserved a structured framework of their own. And so that realization became the strategic foundation for what we call today opportunity intelligence. Now, beginning this month, this publication will finally and officially become the Opportunity Intelligence Journal. Now, this new name is going to reflect a much broader, more intentional mission, which is to publish original research, practical framework, and also thoughtful analyses that kind of help owners, brokers, and investors, lenders, and even attorneys and advisors make stronger, more predictable commercial real estate capital decisions. And so this is more than a newsletter going forward. Okay, I want you to look at it as a growing, living body of institutional research. Things that you can expect every Wednesday in the morning. I'm going to publish one focused idea, one framework, one practical takeaway, and one invitation that will continue the conversation. Okay, so rather than trying to cover every industry topic at once, each edition is going to explore a single concept in raw, granular depth. And I think that is going to benefit you the most. Some articles will deeply examine creative financing strategies, while others will maybe unpack valuation methodology. And some rigorous underwriting is going to be a part of this as well, in portfolio optimization, maybe market intelligence, or the specific decision making framework that evaluate the quality of commercial capital conversations. So the goal here is to simply create some definitive resources that are going to remain highly valuable long after they hit your inbox. So don't forget to subscribe both to my podcast and also my newsletter on LinkedIn. And you can always go right to my blog on my website as well to get loads of resources. Now, this week's insight, let's talk about it. Now, during the recent property review that I was doing quite a few with CrestwellIQ. There was a property that had been in existence under ownership since like the 1980s. Okay, so the surface numbers suggested this completely straightforward refinance opportunity, but the owner had built this significant equity. It was over 50% equity, and the occupancy was perfectly stable, and the loan maturity date was rapidly approaching. Okay. And at first glance, everything pointed towards pulling the trigger on a standard refinance. But a closer, auditable review kind of told us a completely different story. The owner's long term objectives had kind of shifted. After speaking to them personally, several critical documents that were required by institutional lenders were kind of missing or incomplete. And a deeper comparable property analysis revealed there was this hidden valuation consideration that deserved immediate aggressive scrutiny. So we got into it, and the question kind of went beyond whether financing was available. They were definitely eligible for financing with their standing, but the real question was whether refinancing actively kind of aligned with the owner's actual broader macro objectives. So it's so important. What are the macro objectives of the actual person you're dealing with? right? And that vital distinction sits directly at the center of opportunity intelligence. We always begin with the client's true objective, and everything else kind of follows from there. Okay, so the frameworks that you can use today, where you're going to ask these three questions before discussing financing. Before you begin exploring any kind of loans, specific loans, or loan products or lender options, I want you to run your asset through three core diagnostic questions. And the first one I'm going to say that you got to ask is, what is the owner's actual objective? Is it growth? Is it liquidity? Is it risk reduction? Is it estate planning, comprehensive portfolio restructuring? What is it? And so a financing recommendation can only be as good and have real value when it structurally supports the overarching objective behind it. Okay? Number one. And number two, the evidence. Evidence. What evidence supports the recommendation? Because reliable decisions are going to begin exclusively with reliable information, right? So you want documentation and then the true operating performance. Okay, when I say true, there's a massive difference between what is there on paper and what the true operating performance is, and then also ownership structures and also comparable analyses. And these all deserve a flawless, multi layered review before conclusions are made. And then the third thing I would say that you want to ask, what would an institutional underwriter question? What would their questions be? And then looking at an opportunity through a very strict underwriting lens, right? And what that does is it always reveals data gaps that can be proactively addressed before they turn into major transactional obstacles that are standing in your way. And so I want you to remember that preparation creates absolute confidence. So you want to be able to walk into these things with complete confidence in your numbers, in your plan, in your objectives going forward. So looking ahead, the Opportunity Intelligence Journal is going to continue expanding over the coming months. Okay. And we're going to be building a definitive library of practical research. And it's going to be designed to improve the quality of commercial capital decisions that you're making. So, our upcoming research, which I'm excited about, will explore just really highly technical topics, okay, that are going to be things like why standard AVM cascades fail in tertiary markets, the 5 layers of opportunity intelligence. If you want to take a look at my methodology, you can go on my website and look in resources, and you'll see the flagship resource. And you can read that in detail so you understand how we operate here at ME Crestwell Capital. And then also, you're going to get calculation integrity. We're going to talk about that. And I'm kind of excited about it because one of the things I appreciate most about the community that we're in here, it's a small community, but I'm not big on numbers, right? This community is the incredible range of institutional experience. I'm very happy about that, to be honest, because of the quality of the small community that we do have that we're building here. We have commercial and residential brokers, agents, attorneys, appraisers. We have investors, lenders, developers, property owners, and they're all reading along. And each unique perspective, I feel, drastically is going to strengthen the broader conversation that we're going to be having together. And so, over the coming months, I'm going to start kind of featuring exclusive interviews on my podcast. So I might reach out to some of you amazing people and have discussions with professionals, opportunity reviews when it comes to portfolios. And then we have capital readiness and relationship intelligence, market intelligence, and adaptive research. There's something around that. So you want to stay tuned for sure. And then also commercial lending frameworks, underwriting perspectives, and real world opportunity breakdowns. So I want to give you an invitation right now because one of the things that I really want to talk to you about is super important across these sectors. Okay, that's the plan, and to unpack the challenges because we have challenges. We're going to talk about the opportunities and the emerging ideas that are shaping commercial real estate today. Now, if there's a specific topic that you believe deserves some thoughtful data-driven examination, I would love to hear from you. So don't forget to go ahead and join the conversation. And if one of your clients or investments or even current properties kind of present a complex financial question that you feel deserves careful analysis, I'm always happy to discuss it with you. Because every meaningful recommendation, it begins with understanding the core objective, reviewing the evidence, and then mapping out the strongest available paths forward. And that's exactly the work that Opportunity Intelligence and Crestwell IQ were built to support. So, if you would like, you can schedule a confidential strategy conversation with me. You can go ahead and subscribe to the Opportunity Intelligence Journal. And remember that research, frameworks, and practical insights for professionals making better commercial real estate capital decisions, you'll find that right here. Until next Wednesday, keep asking better questions because better decisions begin with better reasoning. Take care.